Hey guys, it's Pam again. So this video is actually going to be just a little bit about mine and my husband's story. I had made a previous video, but it ended up being like over an hour long because it was filled with details about everything. And they're like, it's too long, so can't upload it or whatever. So here I am again. I was crying in the last video, so bear with me. This is probably gonna make me cry again. Because every time I tell a story, it's like if I'm alone or in a place where I like have to keep myself together, it just can go either way. So bear with me. I was 29 weeks pregnant. It was the weekend of our wedding, and we were pregnant with our first boy, second child. For Chris and I, we do have a daughter, Destiny. She's my stepdaughter. And we were ecstatic to have a son. We named him Aiden Christopher, after my husband Chris. And basically, long story short, I was diagnosed with severe preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome. If you don't know what that is, I encourage you to don't Google it, because Google is a bad self-diagnosis place. It doesn't give you all the facts. Do some research, real research on HELLP syndrome. A lot of you probably already know what preeclampsia is. If you don't, short answer, it's a condition when you're pregnant that is only cured by delivery. And it can happen as early as 20 weeks, but as late as 39. And the severity and, condition that you're in is what determines whether or not you deliver. It makes your blood pressure go up. It restricts your blood flow in your vessels. And if your blood pressure is too high, as most of you may know, it can cause you to have very, very, very severe seizures. In that case, results in eclampsia, which not only would affect you, but the baby as well. And that can be very dangerous. And basically, severe preeclampsia, the onset is usually, first pregnancy, you have it maybe towards the end of your pregnancy, and then, it progresses earlier in your pregnancy as your pregnancies go on. The big thing with me is that I was, an odd case, I guess. I didn't meet the criteria for anything. I never had preeclampsia before in a pregnancy. With my daughter, I had perfect, actually low blood pressure. I never had blood pressure problems before that. They say that sometimes more women can get preeclampsia if they have a partner who is of a different ethnicity. Sorry. So that could be like a contributing factor. No, that's not it. If your children have different fathers, that's not the case for me. All of my kids have the same father. It was just crazy. So, and typically, they see that after like the 30-week mark, 30 32, 34, into 36, sometimes as late as 39 weeks. And in that case, that's when they're just safe, it's safe to deliver. Babies have developed enough surfactant in their lungs where they can breathe on their own, and it's not going to harm them. It's not going to affect their lungs as much as it would if they're born at 30, 32 weeks, and less than that, 25, 24, 29 in my case. So, and HELLP syndrome kind of goes not really hand in hand, but kind of. The preeclampsia, it raises your blood pressure. Basically, your blood pressure helps control all of the things in your body, including your organ functions, like your kidneys and your liver, and obviously your brain. If you're going to have seizures, if your blood pressure is too high, what else is it going to do to your body? So HELLP syndrome actually is, there's an acronym for it, and off the top of my head, I cannot remember it. One of my next videos, I'll go into the, more in depth about preeclampsia and HELLP syndrome, but HELLP syndrome is basically elevated liver enzymes, and the elevated liver enzymes, depending on how high they get, is results in liver failure. I was hospitalized for 4 or 5 days before they gave me the diagnosis of HELLP syndrome. At that point, it had progressed so far. I was already into active liver failure. I was in so much pain that all I could do was hold my stomach. It's an upper gastric pain, so I don't know if you can see it, it's like right here, right under your breast. It's very painful. That's all I can say. I would go through 20 childbirths before I would do that again. I felt like I was dying. I was. If they didn't deliver Aiden, I was going to die. So, you hear that, like, we deliver your son 3 months early or you're gonna die. Knowing what I just told you about being delivered early and the lung capacity and that kind of thing, babies early, most of you know that without the advanced medical technology that we have nowadays, it's hard for them to survive. Thank God that we have it, because Aiden was intubated right away. When they took me in for a C-section, I don't remember a whole lot. In fact, all I remember really before the C-section was telling them to tie my fucking tubes. That's all I wanted. I was crying and screaming and yelling at the doctors. They're like, we're not doing it, we're not doing it, we're not doing it. You're delivering too early, something could happen, no, we're not doing it. And I was just screaming and screaming, and all I really remember about that is that Chris said, Pam, we'll deal with that later, let's just get through this first, okay? Let's just get through this first. And I'm like, fine, whatever, whatever, I'm not having any more kids. And I was so out of my mind from the magnesium and everything that was going on. I was scared, and I really, at that point, meant I didn't want to have any more kids because I was so afraid. I didn't know if Aiden was going to be alive when he was born. I didn't know if at that point, how much time I had. Did I have time? Was I even going to be able to be married? Was I going to see my girls again? Those were the things that were running through my brain. I was talking with a friend the other day, and I remembered, after 3 years, I remembered a thought that I had when I was going somewhere between they told me I was going in for a C-section, and when I had been to the OR, that I had thought about how I didn't have anything planned, meaning I didn't have anything set up for a funeral for myself because I was afraid that I was going to die. Well, they delivered Aiden in time. And I lived. Here I am. But he did not. He lived for 3 weeks. And in the time that he was at the NICU, I was there. I was not there. I was waiting for him to come home. I was told that I would have so much time with him when he was home. I was given false hope, that everything would be okay. Before I know it, he's going to be home. Everything's going to be fine. And it wasn't. We got a call from the doctor. He had a seizure. And things just went south. He was reintubated. We chose to withdraw care. And it was the hardest decision of our life. It's the first time I had ever seen my husband cry. It's the last time I've seen him cry. Well, it broke my heart. Chris held him as he took his last breath. And we had a open casket funeral service for him, which I'm sure probably a lot of people didn't agree with. Sorry, my hair is falling in my face and it's just driving me nuts. But, we 5 people, including myself and my husband, met Aiden out of our families and friends. My dad did not even get to meet my son. My brother, all 3 of my brothers didn't get to meet him. And it was rough. It was really rough for them, especially my brother Matt. To this day, I wish that I would have known, because I wish things could be different, but they're not. And as my story goes on and my life moves forward, I think about the things that I could have done, the things I should have done, but I didn't, and the things that I could have done and I should have done, that even if I did, probably wouldn't have made a difference. We chose to have an autopsy done on Aiden because we wanted to know why. We wanted to know what happened. We found basically nothing. All of his organs, all of his everything were perfect except for one thing. Staphylococcal aureus. I totally did not say that right, but it's a staph infection. He died of sepsis. An infection. Who would have thought? An infection. It just goes to show you how sensitive babies are. I pumped for him. I did a lot for him, but it wasn't enough. So that's our story, and we're going to, well, I am going to continue to share actually other people's stories. I have a few lined up that I'm just going to share because I know that there are other people out there that share similar stories. I'm going to be setting up an email, actually, and I'll share the email address in my next couple of videos here. I'm also going to be doing a short video about Aiden and just kind of showing you guys who he was and our journey through the NICU. But for now, that is all. Subscribe, share my videos. I'm trying to help as many people. I'm trying to reach out. And it's not about the fame. It's about helping other people and myself. I'm doing this for Aiden. For now, that's all. See you guys later.